Hola, que es la que. Mi nombre es Natalia Rosa Padilla, and I'm from class of 2024.
Hugo, my name is Cecilia Moya, and I'm a part of the class of 2025.
¿Qué tal? Mi nombre es Yasmin Olivares, and I'm from the class of 2024.
¿Qué onda? My name is Emily Telles, and I'm in the class of 2024.
Hola, my name is Christine Zavala, and I'm in the class of 2024.
Hello, que mi gente. Mi nombre es Adrián Isa, and I'm in the class of 2025. I'm from La Romana, Dominican Republic. I was born and raised there, and I moved here when I was 15, so in 2011. And I did my high school here and my undergrad here, well, part of my high school, and my undergrad here. And I always knew that I wanted to be a vet, so it was just a matter of like, where am I going to go? And having left some of my family in the Dominican Republic, move to the United States, I just like wanted to go somewhere that was close to home. So I was searching universities online, and I noticed that NC State was like one of the top universities in the States. I decided to apply not just because of that, but because it was really close to home too, and I could just go home and to see my family whenever I wanted to. So I applied to come here to continue to be a vet and be close to family.
I was born and raised in Lenore, North Carolina, but my family is from Guatemala. I did my undergrad degree at NC State in animal science, so I was pretty familiar with the vet school since then, and I really liked it. I didn't really want to go anywhere else. I wanted to stay close to home since my family is still in North Carolina, so I put all my eggs in one basket and applied to NC State and got in, and in-state tuition also helps. So
Preach.
I'm from Puerto Rico, Manatí, Puerto Rico, and I came to NC State because first I have family here. My brother, sister-in-law, and nephew are here. And the second reason was that NC State is a great school. It has a great ranking. And when I applied, I thought I was not going to get in on any school. So I applied to like 10 schools, and I think. And when I received the acceptance from NC State, I couldn't believe it. So I tried to find who the Puerto Ricans were in school, and somehow I found their number and their information. I called them and asked them like, how do you feel? Like, I'm really scared about the language barrier, but also like just living in a different place. It's not a tropical island anymore. So and they definitely convinced me about like how well they felt during vet school, and how their transition in first year wasn't that hard because the faculty was really supportive and they felt really welcome. So I was like, say no more, I'm going there, and here I am.
I'll go next. I'm from Dallas, Texas. My family is originally from Jalisco, Mexico. So how I came to NC State, I actually did move across, so I'm an out-of-stater. And I think some of the reasons that I decided to apply here initially was because of the rank, the cost, and the fact that I could be in-state after some time. I also really appreciated the different focus areas. It just kind of showed like the broad spectrum of the things that we would learn here and the things that I could get hands-on experience on. But what really solidified my decision was when I came here for Welcome Week, right before COVID hit, and just seeing the community that was built here, how diversity and inclusion was something that they were really emphasizing, and I wanted to find a place where I felt welcomed, and I think NC State was just that.
So my family's from Honduras. I'm originally from up north, so New York and Connecticut. I moved to North Carolina in 2005, moved to Durham, and I applied to NC State. That was the only vet school I applied to, and I didn't get in, which was really sad, but it gave me the opportunity to get more experience in like with different species, and I also had the opportunity to work here in the Terry Center for 3 years, and just seeing how supportive the faculty was of me, just like being an assistant, really showed me like how supportive, like it showed me the support I would have as a student. Because they, like, every time they would do something cool, they'd be like, Christine, come look at this, or they'd explain procedures to me, and it meant a lot. And I also saw how passionate NC State was about diversity, and that's something I'm also passionate about. And it's also really nice to be close to Durham and close to family, so happy to be here.
My family's from Jalisco, Mexico. I was originally born in California, but we moved to NC when I was about 7. And I just remember driving with my family and seeing signs of vet school. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to go there one day. And here we are. And I didn't know much about vet school then and NC State's vet school, but over the years I found out that it's one of the best in the country, and I know why. Like, it really is amazing, and I love the diversity that's here, and I'm just really glad that it happened for me and for all of us.
Yeah, so part of the reason why I wanted to become a vet was because when I was growing up, I would always see like the veterinarians on TV shows and like the animal shows, and that really just inspired me to have this love and appreciation for animals and to be that person who helps them, with their health and their lives. So when I graduate from vet school and I become a veterinarian, I would love to have a TV show at some point as well.
I love that.
So that I can be that inspiration, not just for mainly also for Hispanic kids and Latino children, so that they can see somebody that looks like them. Because honestly, everybody was white.
Yeah.
When I was watching, TV and stuff like that. So I want to be that inspiration for other kids growing up that know they can also make it, and that they can become a veterinarian too if they want to.
That's amazing.
I love that.
I know, at least for me, growing up in a Hispanic household, I saw the way that pets, they weren't being treated bad, but they definitely weren't being treated like family like we see them now. And so I think a lot of Hispanic communities, just from where they were born and raised, they see pets just as a dog that is chained up outside. You feed them table scraps, you don't really take them to the vet to get their vaccines. So I really wanted to change that perspective of on animals in the Hispanic community. And also I think at least for my parents, in a lot of Hispanic communities, I think that the language barrier is a big thing that stops them and deters them from seeking veterinary care for their animals. So in the future, I would hope to open my own veterinary practice that has mainly minority and bilingual staff to help with that language barrier, and also just to educate the Hispanic community on the importance of veterinary care and stuff, and what it means and why it's important. So yeah.
I have similar goals to Emily. I didn't grow up with a lot of money, so it was hard for my family to take our pets to the vet, for yearly, or if they had allergies or anything like that, or even to give medications that they need for a long time. That wasn't something that we could sacrifice, rent or food for that. And so my goal would be to, like Emily said, open a low-cost clinic for people in underserved communities who don't have access to affordable veterinary care or veterinary care period. Sometimes it's just not, there's so many other things that people are worried about and stressed about, and sometimes they want to have that companionship, and I feel like that companionship from an animal shouldn't be a luxury. It should be something that everybody can have, because it's amazing what animals can do for your mental health and their therapy. So yeah.
And same here. I'm from Puerto Rico. We have a lot of stray animals. I always say here you see a lot of deers, there you see a lot of dogs in the streets, and they usually have somebody random that goes feed them, but they're exposed to hit by cars and stuff like that. And even people that have them, they don't have enough income to give them the care that they need. So, and we see that here in North Carolina as well. So my goal is similar to that, is to make my services affordable, but also being bilingual is so good for us, for them, of course, because we can understand them. They can be open with us. Sometimes they don't they don't even feel comfortable, and they don't tell you everything if they don't speak in their own language. So I think that's something that I really want to do. If in the future I want to be a surgeon so far, so I would like to have my own mobile practice where I take referral from different clinics, and that way I can serve them as not only translation for these cases that are probably like major problems with because they need surgery, but also make it more affordable because they don't have to come to my clinic, my hospital that is super expensive. I can go to theirs and make it more affordable for them.
I want to add to what Emily was saying. So 100% agree with everything that you said. I feel like having someone in the field who people can speak in their own language with just brings about so much more confidence in wanting to reach out to these services. And I know that I did it growing up. Like, if I did go to the vet with my mom, I was a translator. And I was 7 years old translating
Right.
medical terms for my mom, you know? So it's like the fact that with people like us working in the field, our moms can go to the vet clinic fully understanding everything the doctor's saying and not having to rely on their 8-year-old child translating what the doctor said. So
And sometimes I feel they limit themselves too. Like they don't ask as many questions. They go home with all these questions that weren't answered just because they
Yeah,
were
they were
afraid of
scared.
either making a mistake speaking English or that they weren't going to be understood. And I think
Yeah.
that's really important and something that
And
we can address in our future.
yeah.
even like veterinary terminology in English can even in lay terms can be hard to understand. So then when you add in like a language barrier, it makes it that much more difficult.
Yeah.
And frustration there too. Makes it so
I feel
hard.
like ultimately it would just like I would love that human animal bond to be like awesome in Latino communities.
Yeah.
That's the
the
ultimate
goal.
goal. Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, I guess for me, I feel like I came from a very similar background from what was described. We never took our animals to the vet. We just kind of did what we could. And I think a big portion is like my parents didn't really understand what should be done, what was recommended to be done. I remember people thinking or saying in my family like, don't you only get rabies once in your lifetime and then you're done, you know? And it's just like now that I've learned, you start to realize like no, like these are recommended things, and I feel like my journey just kind of started very similar to like what you guys were describing. Like I was tired of seeing like the dogs chained up. I was tired of seeing like the animals on the street, and there's a lot of homeless people where I live too back in Dallas, and like seeing those animals, like there's a huge bond between them, but you can't just like take away the animal and try to fix it. It's that person's, you know. So I think I started off my journey that way. Like I want to be able to explain that not only to like my immediate family, but also to the people of my community back at home. I feel that also, like I hope in becoming a doctor that like my family understands that education is something that's obtainable. I know that throughout my lifetime, a lot of people in my family have thought that college wasn't for them. And so I think that's something that I would like to share with others, that just because you look a certain way or feel a certain way doesn't mean that being a doctor isn't for you, and you can still have a really big impact. So
Yeah.
I think all of those things together will hopefully come together. And I don't know what I want to do with my life. I think I kind of want to work in academia, but I definitely want to use the free time that I have working in that kind of industry, or to provide my services at low cost or for free to people who are doing shelter medicine and impacting low-income communities.
So it's a little weird for me because in Puerto Rico we don't have such a thing as National Hispanic Heritage Month, and when I moved here I didn't know what it meant or like what we were supposed to do or anything. But I feel that this year I felt really inspired to not only share my story this month but also embrace the diversity that NC State has here. So we have been trying to do things together. We just had a potluck where we shared like different dishes that we like from our countries. We are also trying to create awareness of like what being Hispanic and or Latinx means and the difference between those. I feel like this year is when it started to be really important to me. It also helped me don't miss home as much because I just ate what I like in that potluck, you know. And I just want to like use this month to get to know people and share our stories, I guess.
For me, it's the same way because I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic, so like we don't have our Hispanic Heritage Month there because that's just like who we are. So when I moved here and when I went to high school, I also didn't really pay attention to that. So like you didn't really pick up for me until maybe this year or last year when this whole thing around being inclusive and being more like trying to learn more and have more representation on TV shows and everywhere like in the stream media about minorities or disadvantaged people groups that I really started like digging into what like being Hispanic meant for me living here in the United States because that's something that I never really thought about because that's just who I am. So I was like, well, how do I like show people this part of me that is like really who I am and like something that I'm proud of, and then also make them interested in being that and not just like the stereotypes that maybe the media portrays about what being Hispanic means. So I really am trying to just also dig deep into learning about other cultures that are Hispanic as well as the Hispanic and Latin cultures as well around me so that I can also better understand other people and their cultures and why maybe they do things differently than I do it.
And we have so much diversity in the Hispanic community and Latinx. It's crazy. Like
Yeah.
we don't realize until we get to know each other.
Yeah.
As much.
I think it's really same as you guys. Like I don't feel like I really ever celebrated this month, but being in school and seeing how the school wants it, you know, like it makes it an actual thing, which is good because it's like we were never celebrated before, so it's like we should be celebrated. Why shouldn't we be celebrated? But I feel like it's really about just like taking in the little things about our culture, you know, like spending more time with family, having family cookouts, calling your grandparents in your home countries, and you know, like just like taking it all in, especially say being in vet school, like there isn't many of us, so sometimes we don't like I can't really be 100% who I am everywhere that I go. Like I'm like sometimes I'm more American than I am Mexican, and I'm like I'm like it's hard, but so I feel like it really is just about appreciating those little things of your culture, like taking it all in, saying like I'm Mexican the whole year, but this month I'm gonna really feel it, and I'm gonna really embrace it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. I feel the same way. I never really celebrated it either. And even though my family lives in Durham and I live in Raleigh, and we're like 45 minutes away, it's hard for me to get out there and visit them. So like, just like sharing food from all our different cultures today at the potluck was really nice and like felt like a little piece of home. And I got to like cook with my mom this morning to make like the beans and stuff. So
It's really good.
They
yeah.
were really good.
For me growing up, like I think I had a very weird relationship with my own culture. Like I almost was like, I don't really know what I am, who I am. And as I've grown older, and especially when I went off to college, is when I started like really embracing it. And so I think as I've like nowadays, I guess, I'm just trying to like embrace my culture, learn more about my culture, because there's a lot of things that like I maybe like my parents tried to teach me, but I didn't really absorb. And now that I'm so far away from home, it's like I feel like I want to remember those things, and like I should have cooked more with my mom. I should have learned how to make tamales. I should have learned how to make pozole. Not have to look online to do those things,
But your tamales son bien ricos, okay?
Yeah.
I have tried them. They son ricos. So.
Yeah. And I think like overall, like I'm just learning to embrace my culture, and I'm hoping to become a person that like I'm proud of, and like that other people can see and be proud of as well. And I think the reason that I wanted to like bring that part up is because I know that there's other people who look at their culture and like don't embrace it as much, but that's okay, and it's a work in progress, and you can always grow.
Yeah, for sure.
It's never too late.
Yeah.
Ditto to everything everyone said. I don't have much to add other than, you know, Hispanic Heritage Month. Like, I love it, and I think it's a great way for non-Hispanics, non-Latinos to celebrate us, and for even within the Latino community to celebrate each other. So even though I'm Latina every single day of the year, I love being extra Latina September 15th through October 15th. So, and that's that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of expectations for Latin students, especially in the U.S. There's expectations from society, 100% expectations from our families, and I would say to all students, Hispanic students, just do what makes you happy. Don't, like, there's a lot of pressure on us, and I think that it's not fair to us to live with that pressure. So just do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. Believe in yourself. Believe that you're good enough, that you're smart enough, that you can get far. Like, it doesn't matter if our parents didn't get as far as they wish they did. Like, we can do that for them, and like, we're good enough, and we can do it. And I will say a little Spanish phrase, el que no arriesga no gana. So that means the person who doesn't risk it doesn't gain anything.
Amazing. Yeah, I would probably say, well, at least when I was younger, my family would always say to me, ponte las pilas, which directly translates to put on your batteries, but it actually means to like not give up and to like put your all into whatever you're doing. And I think that's my advice to like future veterinary students and the Latino community. You know, we come from like a community of hustlers, and I think that really shows in our community. So putting in our all, like even when people don't believe in us, putting in our all and not giving up when people second guess our abilities and second guess like what we're gonna do in the future. So that's my advice. It's just keep going, don't give up, and ponte las pilas, and échale ganas.
I think to add to that, because that was great, my other advice would be just surround yourself from people that support you. You're going to encounter a lot of people that are going to try to discourage you from your goals, and they're going to tell you you're not going to make it that far because it's really hard. And I heard that so many times in Puerto Rico because of the language barrier, because I had to literally change my whole culture. I mean, I'm not changing my culture, but but change like how I live, my language, and the things that I do every day are different. So they always told me like, you know what, they don't accept that many Latinos anyway. It's this percentage, so I don't think you're going to make it. And I'm here, and it was really rough at the moment to hear that, but I think that it helped me a lot to surround myself from people that supported me, like my family, friends that really believed in me. And if you really want it, I think you're more than capable to make it happen if it's your passion. We are here, like, I'm pretty sure that everybody here, it's okay with sharing information. If you are, I don't know where you are, but if you have a question, find my email. I don't know, like somehow just search me on Google. I'll probably show up. But we are here to help all the students too and share our stories so that your story is better and easier than ours. And just to add a little bit of Spanish too, I would say no te quites, which is kind of similar as ponte las pilas. It's basically don't give up on your dreams.
I would say specifically to students who want to go to vet school, if you don't get in the first time, try again and get more experience, find mentors, visit a vet school, get a job at the vet school. Like, even if it's like working in the library or working as a technician or a kennel assistant, like anywhere you can get in there and absorb as much as you can and apply again. And if you don't get in that time, do something else to make yourself look better, get more experience, and then apply again. It doesn't matter if you have to apply like 5 times. If you want it bad enough, you'll get in.
Yeah.
And it'll be worth it.
I will just tell a little kid wanting to apply to vet school to, no matter where you're coming from, to never give up on your dreams. If that's something that you really want, you can make it happen, and dreams can come to life, and dreams can happen. So I've been the type of guy that I've always just like had this timeline in my mind of like, by this age I'm gonna do this, by this age I'm gonna do this, and then by this age I'm gonna do that. And when those things don't happen, then I'm like, well, I guess I'm not gonna do it anymore. And if you're like me, like even if you don't get in the first time, or if you have to try extra hard to get in, or if you know, maybe it seems like it's taking longer than you wanted it to take, it's not a setback. Maybe there's a lesson there. Maybe there's something that you want to learn and you want to grow in that area of your life. So don't let that discourage you from just following your dreams and following, you know, and pursuing whatever it is they want to pursue, whether it's vet school or something else. And whenever you are trying to apply to college or come to the school or whatever.
And I also wanted to add,
No, you're fine.
I just thought of something. I also wanted to add onto what Emily was saying, is that like our ancestors, our families have sacrificed so much, and don't let that sacrifice like add too much pressure that you can't handle it anymore. But also know that you come from that, so you can do whatever you want to do. Like your family has been through so much, and there's nothing that you can't do.
Yeah. I think I'd like to pretty much echo what everybody has said. I know growing up, and my parents didn't get an education at all, and pretty much every adult around me did not go to school. So it can be intimidating to pursue higher education, and I just want people to know that it is for us. It's possible. So I think surrounding yourself by people who support you is great. Like my mom, even though she didn't like go to school or anything, she never stopped pushing us. She never stopped supporting us. And I think to this day, like I'm very happy that she did.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, like you're not just like you're not the product of your circumstances, but what happened to you. Like you can forge your own future and you can change your own history. So don't be afraid to take the step and to do that. Even if it seems scary, just take the leap of faith and know that you can do it. And we're here to support you too. So if you need help, just reach
I
out.
feel that our family story and our own story makes us more resilient than probably what we were going to be without it. So use that courage, use that resiliency. That's how you say it? Resilience.
Yeah.
Resilience to like make it happen, and I think that can shift your future really good.
And even if you don't believe in yourself, lie to yourself and say, I'm the best, I can do anything, I can, like, there's nothing that's going to stop me, and eventually you'll believe it.
And that's where you need people that support you. Like, sometimes I think I have talked to each of you at some point, frustrated for something, and each one of you have told me at some point, you got this, girl, like, you're going to make it happen. So I think that it's important that we have that in our daily basis.
Entre los latinos se puede.
Yeah.
I think I just wanted to add too that like even if we come from such an untraditional background where like we've had to persevere to get to this point, there are many aspects, and I think everybody has highlighted here, like we're resilient, we're hardworking, that our parents have taught us that help us get to this point, that you can just, I kind of like to think that I kind of manipulated my skills to get here. Like we're still very unique, and I think that those skills make us stronger in this field too.
Adiós, gracias.